anything about the fountain?
Just that I always thought it was Mena. We always played around it.
So you played over here at this park.
They said that house is still here, but I guess that house right there, it was,
Say cheese. Say cheese. So there's the fountain, and there's the cabin, and then there is a church with steps. Okay, so tell me, so this is the lake, and the cabin is over there, and the fountain is in front of the cabin, and there's the clock. Okay, and then so you walk across here and you're at the lake and the bridge, and then if you scroll over this way across this lawn,
that would be right on the corner.
Okay, so tell me, the White House?
The White House right there.
Okay, so stand in front of my camera and tell me.
Okay.
Okay, turn around and face me.
Okay, this I think is the house that was the tea room, and it has an oval window in the door.
Okay, so the white one, right?
Right
So it's
here,
the
this
third house over.
Third house over, and then this one was the one that Ruth and Arnold lived in.
Say that louder, it's what?
The one that Ruth and Arnold lived in.
Okay. And tell me about the house. What do you remember about it?
Which house?
The one you lived in.
It was, you walked into a living room. Well, it was an entryway, and it had a big grand piano, and you stepped down into...
That's in Ruth's house?
No, that's in there.
Okay,
Oh,
so, yeah, so in Ruth's house. What do you remember about
house,
it?
You walk into the living room, and you go to the right, and there's a bedroom, and then you walk through the living room, and there's a kitchen.
So just a three-room house. Did it have a bathroom?
Maybe not. I don't know. It may have had an outhouse. I don't remember.
Did it have a basement?
Mm-mm.
Probably not. Okay, and then this picket fence house was not anything to you.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, and
That
then
must be the ladies, Angie, that we went to see, because they said they lived there.
yeah, because we came here in the 90s and
they
talked to
said
two
in
old ladies.
They said you've got to be the Robertson girl, because it was 1945 that I lived there.
Okay, yeah, because they still lived in this neighborhood. Okay, and then the White House
It turned it into a tea room, but that was, she said, the genealogist said those houses were rented out to wealthy people in the winter. They'd come here in the winter because it was nice like this.
the snowbirds, yeah.
And I remember that there was a grand piano in the entryway, and there was a little kitchen, I guess, off the back somewhere. But when you walked walked into where the piano was, and then you stepped down a couple of steps, and there was a big room. It was the living room, and that's where my grandparents would sit. And then off to that somewhere there was a kitchen with a refrigerator that my nanny put the milk and cookies on the bottom so I could reach it.
Right.
And I could go get it anytime I wanted to.
And she was a black lady. Yeah.
And she wore a gray dress and white apron and a gray hat with white trim.
And is this where Chemo lived?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Because you remember him with her, though, right? In the same scenes.
Maybe, I don't know, but I kind of think he was in California.
Okay.
But then you walk up the stairway to the left. It's a real tiny little stairway, and that's where Cliff would sit on the stairway. It was so tiny that he could sit sideways, and his knees would touch the other side, and he would flip me over when I came down, flip me back up when I went up.
And that was Cliff.
That was Cliff. And then upstairs was where my room was, and my dolls, and there were 13 dolls there. And when you and I came back, they were
The
still
dolls
there.
were still upstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I asked the man that owned it then if he knew anything about them, and he said yes, they've been on the abstract since 1945, and they cannot be removed out of the house.
And that was a tea room at that time, and it's not now, I guess.
I don't know.
Okay.
You'll see that the front door has an oval.
Talk loud.
You'll see that the front door has an oval window, and I bought a door that had an oval window for the house on Ross Street when you and I were renovating it, and Ruth got really upset.
Over the oval door.
Over the oval door.
Yeah.
And asked me why I bought it. She was worried that I remembered it. And the antique store had 2 of them, and I was going to buy the other one for the back door.
Yeah.
And she said, but why would you buy that? Why on earth would you buy that? She was just real worried.
And this
when
is
we
the house
came-
you remember your grandparents being in.
Yeah, that was their winter home. They came up here in the winter because it was nice weather here.
Yeah.
And
From California?
no,
Texas.
No, from Texas. It was Cliff's dad and mother.
Yeah, okay.
And then Gracie Beale Fortescue came when she abducted me and took me to the judge. And
When Ruth abducted you.
yeah, and forced me to say that I was her, she was my mother and I wanted to live with her. And then Gracie Beale Fortescue, which was my mother, Gracie Beale's grandmother. She was my great-grandmother. But she came and took me and had me christened. And Ruth made her take Arnold with me because she didn't.
And we don't know, but hang on, I'm going to zoom over here. We don't know, but it's possible, because you remember the church with the big steps would have been down that way. We can't see it for the trees, but anyway, it's at the other end of the park.
Yeah. I'm sure that's the house. Of the house at that time that you and I came.
Yeah,
And,
that was in about 1993-ish, yeah.
and he had a tea room going, and I asked him if I could go upstairs, and he said yes, I could do anything I wanted to. And we went upstairs, and my 13 dolls were still there that we wouldn't let me take, and I was real upset about them.
Yeah.
And I went
You
down
did
and
remember those dolls in a session,
yeah.
and they were still there. I was there with
Yeah.
you, yeah.
And there were 13 of them, and I asked him if he knew anything about those dolls, and he said yes, they have been on the abstract of the house since 1945, and they cannot be removed. And it had gone through a few owners, but they had always had to be there. And by then, the faces were all colored and painted, and the wigs were a mess, and they had no clothes, and
Yeah.
kids had played with them, but they couldn't remove them. And so that was my thing.
Okay, so this house is on the corner of Jansen and 9th in Mena, Arkansas. Here's the street sign. So this is the house Bonnie remembers Ruth lived in 1945. And then, so, I don't know what number that is. The next door house is 609, and then the third house over is the one her grandmother, she remembers living. Okay. Okay, so I asked you if you remembered the fence, because
Yeah,
this is old.
I remembered it.
And I do remember you having sessions or flashbacks early on in Oklahoma and remembering the wrought iron fence.
Yeah.
And I know the obsession with oval diamonds and oval doors.
Well, and Ruth just had a totally fit when I bought those doors for Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, I've got the stroller. Okay, so now we are on, I think, the north end of the park in Mena. We are at Park Place, Port Arthur, and I'll have to go up there and see the sign. But I see 3 churches from this corner. I see the First United Methodist, which has a small set of steps. But what was always significant in Bonnie's flashbacks is a big set of steps when her grandmother took her to be christened. So there's this one, and then there's 2 more down here. Hang on, let's walk. This does not sound like the Session Church at all. Although it does have some steps. If you were 2, that would look like a huge step. Okay. And then The one with the giant set of steps is the First Baptist Church. So there's the sign, and it's here. And this is more like what she described in the sessions, don't you think?
Yeah, a lot of steps.
A lot of steps when her grandmother took her to be christened. And this is in Mena, Arkansas, at the corner, zoom in, of 9th and Port Arthur. Okay, and then there's one more church a block down 9th Street here, and I don't know what that is, so we'll have to go see what that is. But all of those are in the vicinity, which may not mean anything, but they're there.
We're in Ruth's house. There's not that many big houses.
Okay, so we're walking down 9th, and this is the First Presbyterian Church. This looks newer to me, like it probably wouldn't have been here at that time. And it's across 9th from the First Baptist Church, which is here. Okay, so this is the First Baptist Church in Mena, and these are the steps, which is like Bonnie described. And this one fits the description more than anything else. First Baptist Church, organized 1897, Dillard S. Miller pastors.